Tiger. I hope you're doing well in these unprecedented times that we're all in. It's certainly a challenge to go through this, and we've never been through something like this before. But I want to share with you some things that you can do to help keep your mind strong. Certainly, we're in a time where the enemy likes to buffet our mind. He wants to try to make us to fear. He wants us to think that we don't know what's going to happen, that we're in uncertain times. But one thing that I do know is that God is still on the throne, and I trust Him fully, and He's going to get us through all of this. But there actually are some things that you can do to help keep your mind strong during this time. And I just want to share a few things like that I put into practice in my life, and I believe that if you'll put into practice in yours, you'll find that your mind will actually become stronger, not only during these times, but at all times. So if you've ever been to any of my classes or listened to much of my teaching, you know that I'm not a big proponent of watching the news. But during this time, I have found myself watching more news than I normally do. And that's good because I want to know what's going on with the virus and, who's being affected and how things are happening and what's changing. But one of the things that I really try to do is once I get my update on what's going on virus related, I turn the news off because I really don't want to fill my mind with the murders and the wars and all the other bad things that are going on in this world. Yes, we have to be informed, but we don't have to let our minds be just inundated with all the negative stuff that's going on, virus aside. So I would encourage you to do that. Be updated, but don't be inundated, and turn it off when all the other negative stuff comes on. Dwell on the Word of God. The Word of God talks over and over again about how if we set our minds upon the Word, and there's scriptures that talk about, thinking about the things that are good and positive and uplifting and encouraging. And if we just meditate upon the Word of God, it really does strengthen our minds. But there's one other thing that I do that really makes a big difference for me. And that is I keep a journal. And I keep a specific type of journal. Now, if you know, again, my teachings, I'm really big on journaling, and I've got several types of journals that I do. But one of the things that can really make a difference in your life is to do a gratitude journal. Because we're so aware of all the negative things that are happening now, it's easy for our minds to begin to dwell on that. And that's exactly what the enemy wants us to do, is to dwell on those negative things. But if you can learn to pull out some of the positive things that are going on in your life, you'll find that it really does fortify your mind. So how do you do that? Well, I bet that every one of you could think of some things that are good in your life, that are positive in your life, things that happen to you every day that encourage you and that are good. But what you can do is write those things down. Now, each one of you, I bet every day could think of something good that's happened to you that day. And if you can think of one thing, I'm sure you could think of 2 or 3 or maybe even more. So what I do every night before I go to bed is I sit down and I write out. I like to write between 3 and 5 things that have happened to me that day that are positive and that I feel good about. Now, this can't be something that's generic. Like, I'm so thankful for God's blessings. Yes, we certainly are. But I want you to pull out some things, specific things that you're thankful for. And it's really not hard. In fact, if you're unsure that you've got anything positive going on in your life, I want you to do something. I want you to take 2 fingers and put right here. And if you feel a pulse, then you've got some good things going on in your life, believe me. But every night, sit down and write 3 to 5 things that happened to you specifically this day that are positive and that made you feel good. And it's not big things. It could be things like the weather was beautiful today, or I had a great day at work, or I had a great time with my kids today, or my son did this, or my daughter did that, or just little things, because those little things can mean a lot. So what's this look like for me? Well, every night I take a journal, and this is just a daily journal. I got it at Walmart. It was like $9 or so. I get one every year. And there's a note section for notes for each day. Well, what I do is every night, I write at the top here, I'm very thankful for, And then each night, for each day here, I write down the things that I'm thankful for. And again, it's not big things. It's just things that have happened to me. It might be little, that I'm just extremely grateful for. Like, for example, last night, of course, we couldn't get together with family for Easter, so we had a Zoom dinner, and we communicated with all of our kids, and we ate dinner together, so to speak. So guess what? That goes in the journal that we had a great dinner with our family through Zoom. So it's just little things like that, because little things mean a lot in our lives. And if you can get in the habit of doing this 3 to 5 things every night that you're thankful for, you'll find that your mind is a little bit stronger, and it's a little easier to dwell on the positive and not so much of the negative. And these are trying times, and sometimes are more trying than others. I'm really making an effort to only go to the store when we have an urgent need, and early Sunday mornings have been my shopping times, and I had to go to Walmart yesterday morning, and I'll tell you what, if there's anything that can challenge you mentally, it's going to shop at Walmart, especially during these times. But guess what? My mind is strong, and so I'm able to overcome those negative things that happen in our lives. And I'm just kidding about Walmart. It's a great store. They've got a lot of things, but this is a trying time to go anywhere really shopping around people, because you just don't know, what's going to happen. But I know that God's on the throne. He's got all this in control. And if you will learn to have an attitude of gratitude, you'll find your mind is really strengthened. So don't watch so much news. Focus on the Word of God. Meditate upon Him. And start a gratitude journal every night. You'll find your mind is fortified, it's strong, and it's positive. I hope that helps. Make a comment for me if you like it. Come to one of my classes. They will happen again once we get through this apocalypse. I'll begin some classes again. I love to teach. I love to share. And I want to invite you to be a part of one of those classes in the future. Love you guys. Have a great night.